The Galactic Council had existed for thousands of years. It was a network of hundreds of alien civilizations, most of them peaceful, many of them gentle by nature. Their histories were filled with cooperation, diplomacy, and trade. Conflict had not disappeared completely, but wars had become rare, and predators were almost unknown among them. Predators, in the minds of most galactic species, were dangerous, unstable, and uncontrollable. Most predator species had gone extinct long before reaching the stars. The few that survived were considered wild, too aggressive to build lasting civilizations. That was why, when the Council discovered a small blue world on the edge of the Orion Arm, they never expected what they were about to learn. The planet was called Earth. From a distance, Earth looked harmless. Oceans shimmered with blue. Clouds drifted across continents filled with forests, deserts, and mountains. The observers from the Council thought it was simply another developing world, one more potential member for the great community of the stars. A fleet of exploration ships was sent. Their mission was clear: observe, study, and prepare for possible first contact. Among those ships was the Valion, a vessel belonging to the gentle species known as the Lurathi. They were tall, thin beings with translucent skin and wide eyes adapted to dim light. The Lurathi were scholars and scientists fascinated by biology. They had scanned hundreds of new worlds before. They thought Earth would be no different. At first, they were amazed by the planet's diversity. They saw great herds of animals running across plains, flocks of birds filling the skies, and whales singing deep in the oceans. Life was everywhere. Then the scans revealed something strange. The dominant species, humans, were not herbivores like most Council members. They were not slow, passive creatures that lived only to graze or gather. Their bodies were built for movement. Their eyes faced forward, not to the sides. Their muscles and bones were built for endurance. Their teeth and digestive systems showed they were omnivores and predators. One Lurathi scientist named Sarah stared at the data for hours. She whispered to her colleagues, "These creatures, they are hunters." The more they studied, the more unsettled they became. Humans had developed advanced tools. They had weapons, machines, and cities that spread across their continents. They were beginning to expand into space. But unlike other young civilizations, their history was not only about farming or trade. It was filled with hunting, conflict, and survival against harsh conditions. The Council scientists gathered in a meeting aboard the Valion. Holograms of human history floated above the table. Images of men and women crossing deserts, climbing mountains, and sailing unknown seas. They saw humans chasing prey for days until the animals collapsed from exhaustion, a style of hunting no Council race had ever used. They saw humans working in groups, communicating, planning, and adapting. To the aliens, it was terrifying. Predators did not usually cooperate. Predators did not build great civilizations. Yet here was a predator species that had created nations, languages, and technology. They had learned to cooperate on a massive scale without losing their hunting instincts. "Unnatural," whispered one alien scholar. "Impossible, dangerous." The Council had always believed peace was the path to progress. Yet these humans had advanced through struggle, through challenge, through the harshness of survival. The discovery spread quickly. Rumors moved from ship to ship, from system to system. Soon every member of the Galactic Council was speaking about Earth. Some said humans should be avoided at all costs. Others said they should be studied more deeply. A few suggested they might become useful allies, though most were doubtful. But one fact was clear: humanity was different. On Earth, people had no idea that distant eyes were watching them. Life continued as normal. In the United States, engineers worked on the next generation of spaceflight technology. Private companies tested new rockets. Military programs explored advanced spacecraft designs. Though humanity had not yet reached the stars, the first steps were already being taken. One American program, known as Project Horizon, aimed to send deep space explorers beyond the solar system. The ships were small but powerful, designed for long journeys. The leaders of the program dreamed of touching other stars within a human lifetime. The Galactic Council, observing quietly, debated fiercely about whether to allow it. In a chamber orbiting the star Erythra, representatives of dozens of species gathered. Some had soft wings that fluttered when they spoke. Others had shells that clicked as they shifted. The council's supreme speaker, an ancient being named Orvos, addressed the assembly. "We face a question unlike any in our history," Orvos said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "This species called humans, they are not like us. They are predators, yet they build. They are hunters, yet they cooperate. If they are welcomed, what will they bring to the galaxy? And if they are rejected, what will they do when they learn we exist?" Silence followed. Many council members feared the answer. One representative, a nervous creature with scales, spoke. "We must contain them. Keep them bound to their world. Do not let them spread." Another, from a species known for trade, disagreed. "If we try to cage them, they may fight back. We have seen what they can do to their own kind in competition. What if they turn that strength against us?" The chamber grew heated. Voices rose. No decision was reached. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans continued unknowingly preparing for their future. Sarah, the Lurathi scientist aboard the Valian, could not stop thinking about humanity. She studied their behavior endlessly. Videos collected from Earth showed humans running long distances, crafting tools and surviving in extreme environments. But what fascinated her most was their eyes. Predators had forward-facing eyes perfect for depth perception, but humans had something else behind their gaze, awareness. They were curious. They were always planning. One night, as she watched a recording of humans building a rocket, she whispered, "They are not just predators. They are dreamers." Her colleagues shook their heads. They only saw danger, but Sarah felt something different. She saw potential. Still, even she could not deny the unease that filled her whenever she saw humans smile while hunting, competing, or pushing themselves to the limit. They seemed to enjoy the struggle. The first real test came when the council attempted limited contact. A probe was sent, disguised as a meteor, to observe human technology more closely. It landed quietly on Earth's surface, but within days it was discovered by American scientists. They did not know it was alien. They only knew it was strange. Within weeks, the object was taken to a hidden laboratory. Engineers and scientists examined it with fascination. It had materials they had never seen before, circuits far beyond their own understanding. The council panicked. Humans were not supposed to find it so quickly. Worse, the humans did not simply store it away. They began testing it, cutting into it, reverse engineering its design. They were learning, fast. The council realized something shocking. Humans did not fear the unknown. They hunted it. They pursued knowledge with the same relentless drive as they pursued prey. What most species would have locked away, humans tore apart, studied, and tried to use. The Galactic Council's fear deepened. If humans could learn so quickly from a simple probe, what would they do if they captured an entire ship? Some members argued again for quarantine. Others demanded secrecy. But it was too late. Humanity was already reaching upward. In America, Project Horizon's first ship was almost ready. It would not leave the solar system yet, but it was a symbol of ambition. The Council realized the truth: humans would not stop. They would explore. They would adapt. They would spread. And once they entered the wider galaxy, no one knew what would happen. Thus ended the first stage of contact. The galaxy had discovered a predator species unlike any it had ever known. On Earth, humanity still lived unaware, dreaming of the stars. But in the shadows of the cosmos, the Council whispered in fear. For the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy felt the presence of hunters, and the hunters were human. The Galactic Council's secret was no longer safe. The probe the Council had dropped on Earth was now in human hands, and American scientists were making progress at a pace that terrified alien scholars. Materials that should have remained mysterious for centuries were being tested, broken down, and copied in months. The Council had underestimated them. For most galactic civilizations, discovery was slow. Herbivore species, cautious by nature, would examine the unknown for decades before making small advances. They feared risk, and their societies prized patience. But humans were different. They took risks. They pushed forward. They hunted knowledge the same way they hunted animals across plains long ago. And while the world as a whole was curious, it was in the United States that scientists and engineers made the most aggressive steps. American laboratories buzzed with excitement. Project Horizon, which had once been a dream of deep space exploration, now received unexpected support after the mysterious probe was uncovered. In orbit around Erythra, the Council debated endlessly. Supreme Speaker Orvos called the chamber to order once more. "The humans are adapting faster than we expected," he announced. His deep voice carried a weight that silenced the noise of the gathered delegates. "They are not afraid of the unknown. They study it. They embrace it. We must decide how to act." Representative Crinell of the cautious Morathi spoke first. Her thin arms trembled as she raised them. "We must stop them. Do you not see? These are predators who learn too quickly. If they rise beyond their world, they will destabilize the balance we have kept for millennia. They will bring hunting instincts into the stars." Others nodded, fear shining in their eyes. But then a traitor species, the sleek and silver Torvins, countered. "We cannot cage them. If we try, they will resist. Look at their history. Whenever they face obstacles, they push harder. Whenever they are challenged, they adapt. If we block them, we may create the very threat we fear." A deep silence fell over the chamber. The truth was uncomfortable. Finally, Sarah, the Lorathi scientist who had first studied humanity, requested to speak. Her kind were known for being gentle, not bold, so the chamber listened with curiosity. "Honored Council," Sarah said softly, "I have watched the humans closely. Yes, they are predators. Yes, they are hunters, but they are also builders. They do not hunt only flesh. They hunt knowledge, they hunt progress. Their danger is real, but so is their potential. We must not judge them only by our fears." Her words unsettled many. To most council members, predators could never be trusted. Yet something in Sarah's voice carried conviction. Orvos ended the session without a decision. The council was divided. Meanwhile, on Earth, change was accelerating. In the United States, Dr. Aaron Keller, lead scientist of Project Horizon, stood in a vast laboratory filled with glowing equipment. On a reinforced table lay the alien probe. Its surface shimmered with alloys unknown to Earth. "Strange thing," one of his assistants muttered. "Doesn't behave like any material we've tested. Almost like it wants to heal itself." Keller smiled. "And we're going to figure out how. This isn't just a rock from space. This is the key to everything out there." His words carried the same spirit that had once driven explorers across oceans. To Keller and his team, this was not something to fear. It was an invitation. Reports spread quickly to American officials. Generals and political leaders began to watch closely. If this was alien technology, it could change the balance of power on Earth forever. What Keller didn't know was that the Council was watching him just as closely. A month later, the Council decided to attempt direct communication. A disguised vessel entered Earth's orbit, projecting harmless signals. The goal was to contact humanity through peaceful means to test their reactions. The signal was detected by American tracking stations. Military command in Washington, D.C. responded immediately. "Unidentified transmission detected in low orbit," reported an officer. "Not from any known satellite. Unknown origin." For hours, the Pentagon scrambled. Was this Russian, Chinese? Some new secret technology? But soon analysts confirmed the patterns did not match anything made on Earth. The United States faced the truth. This was not human. The president was briefed in a secure chamber. Around the table sat generals, scientists, and diplomats. "We don't know what they want," one general said. "But they're here and they're watching us. We need to decide whether to respond." The president leaned forward. "Of course we respond. If someone knocks on your door, you don't hide, you answer. America has always looked forward, not backward." Within hours, a coded response was sent into orbit. Humanity had answered. The Council's envoys were shocked. Most young civilizations would hesitate. They would retreat, unsure of how to act, but humans responded boldly with no fear in their message. "Who are you?" the humans asked.
"Why are you here?"
The envoy's translator struggled to reply. The alien ship transmitted a carefully crafted message of peace, but the humans' questions kept coming. They wanted answers. They demanded clarity. To the Council, it felt as if the prey had looked directly into the predator's eyes and refused to blink. On the ground, debates exploded in America. News of alien contact could not remain hidden forever. Rumors spread, journalists asked questions, and leaks appeared online. Soon, the world knew. Humanity was not alone, but instead of fear, something else spread: determination. Across the United States, citizens reacted with excitement. Universities launched new research programs. Private companies offered to build new spacecraft. Young students dreamed of joining future expeditions. The spirit of exploration returned stronger than ever. America wanted to meet the stars. For the Council, this was alarming. "They should be frightened," whispered Crenell of the Marathi. "But they are not. They are bold. Too bold," Sarah disagreed quietly. "Perhaps boldness is their nature. They are hunters, yes, but also dreamers. We cannot expect them to act as we would. They will never be cautious prey. They will always move forward." Orvos, the Supreme Speaker, finally spoke. "If they rise among us, the balance will change. For millennia, the Council has known stability. But these humans, they are different. The question is not whether they will join us. The question is whether we can survive their joining." Events on Earth soon proved his words correct. The alien probe, still under study in American labs, revealed secrets far faster than the Council expected. Materials were copied. Energy patterns were tested. Within months, small experimental engines were running, powered by ideas taken from the probe's design. It was not full alien technology yet, but it was a leap forward. Dr. Keller wrote in his notes, "If this is just one small object, imagine what else is out there. Imagine what we could learn from the stars themselves." The Council grew desperate. Some suggested sending fleets to block Earth's skies. Others proposed sabotage. But the more they studied humans, the more they realized a terrible truth. Any attempt to contain them might only make them stronger. Predators, after all, thrived when challenged. In the American desert, Project Horizon prepared for its first official test flight. The ship, named the Independence, was sleek and powerful, a product of both human engineering and hints learned from the probe. Crowds gathered to watch. Cameras broadcast the event live across the nation. Dr. Keller stood with his team, nerves buzzing with excitement. "This isn't just about us," he whispered. "This is about proving we belong out there." The countdown began. Engines roared. Fire lit the sky. The Independence launched, rising higher and higher until it disappeared into the dark. All across Earth, people cheered. For the first time, humanity had taken a step beyond fear and into destiny. Far away in council chambers, the reaction was very different. "They are coming," whispered Crenell, her voice heavy with dread. "The predators are rising." But Sarah, watching the same broadcast on her ship's monitors, felt something else. Hope. "They are not just predators," she said quietly. "They are something new, something the galaxy has never seen before." And deep in the void of space, where stars burned in endless silence, the rest of the galaxy listened. Because for the first time in countless ages, a new hunter had entered the field, and it was human. The galaxy had never feared a young species the way it feared humans. For centuries, the Galactic Council had been the center of power, balancing the needs of many civilizations. But now, whispers spread in every chamber, on every station and across every trade route. The humans are rising, predators, builders, dreamers. The words carried equal weight, both terrifying and fascinating. On Earth, the United States pushed forward faster than anyone expected. The success of the Independence launch had ignited something in the human spirit. Newspapers carried bold headlines: "Humanity steps into the future." Young people filled universities with dreams of space. Politicians promised new funding, but it was not only dreams. In hidden facilities, American engineers studied the alien probe. They had already begun creating prototypes of advanced drives and stronger alloys. While other nations tried to catch up, America had taken the lead. This frightened the Council even more. Humans were not only predators, they were predators with ambition. Inside the Council chambers orbiting Erythra, another emergency session was called. Supreme Speaker Orvos raised his voice, his long fingers gripping the edge of the speaking platform. "We cannot ignore this any longer. The humans will soon leave their system. If they arrive among us without limits, they will disrupt everything we have built." Crenell of the Marathi hissed in agreement. "They must be stopped. Not persuaded, not welcomed, stopped. Their hunger for progress will not end. Their nature will drive them to compete until all others fall behind." Several delegates murmured in fear. But Sarah, The Lurathi scientist who had studied humanity the longest spoke carefully. Stopping them may not be possible. Every time they are challenged, they grow stronger. If we set obstacles, they will only see them as targets to overcome. Then we must strike before they are ready, Crannell said firmly. If we wait, we will face them at full strength. Her words carried through the chamber like a chill wind. And so, in the shadows of the council, a plan was born. A coalition of fearful species gathered secretly. They would not wait for humanity to grow stronger. They would trap the Americans in their first real mission beyond the solar system. The plan was simple. When America sent its next ship to explore, the coalition would place fleets in the remote system chosen as a destination. The humans would arrive, expecting peace or emptiness, only to find themselves surrounded. The trap would prove once and for all that humans were not ready for the stars. Back on Earth, the Americans prepared for a bold step. The Independence had only been the beginning. Now a larger ship was ready, the Liberty, equipped with new experimental drives partially inspired by the alien probe. Captain James Hale, a former Navy officer known for his calm under pressure, was chosen to lead the mission. Standing before his crew in the launch bay, he spoke simply, "We don't know what's out there. We don't know who's watching. But we do know this. We are going, and we will not stop. Humanity has always moved forward, and this mission is no different. Whatever waits for us among the stars, we'll meet it together." His words filled the crew with pride. They were not only astronauts, they were pioneers. As the Liberty prepared to launch, Council agents watched. The coalition had already set its trap in a remote star system, far from Earth's reach. Dozens of alien warships waited in the darkness. Some belonged to the Marathi, with their long, needle-like cruisers. Others belonged to cautious allies who feared what humanity might become. The orders were clear. When the human ship arrived, surround it, disable it, and take its crew prisoner. The galaxy would learn that predators had no place among the stars. The Liberty launched to thunderous cheers on Earth. Families waved flags. Children dreamed of following in the crew's footsteps. Scientists prayed for new discoveries. Captain Hale sat in the command chair, staring at the vast screen showing Earth shrinking behind them. "Course set," his navigator reported. "Then let's see what waits for us," Hale said softly. The engines roared, and the Liberty leapt into the void. The Council coalition waited. In the remote star system, the trap was set. Ships powered down their weapons, cloaking themselves in dark space. Their commander spoke with cold certainty. "They will not expect resistance," one said. "They are bold but inexperienced," another agreed. "This will be over quickly." They believed humans were reckless. They believed humans would walk blindly into the cage. But they had forgotten what it meant to face a hunter. The Liberty exited its jump with a flash of light. Stars filled the view screen. The crew cheered quietly. It had worked, but the celebration ended quickly. "Captain," the sensor officer called out, her voice tight. "Multiple contacts." All around us, Hale leaned forward. His eyes narrowed. "How many?" The officer swallowed. "At least 20 ships. Different designs. They're closing in fast." The crew stared in silence. Their first mission beyond Earth, and they were already surrounded. Hale stood slowly, his face calm. "All hands to stations. Don't panic. Remember your training." The aliens thought they had cornered prey, but Captain Hale was already thinking like a hunter. The alien fleet moved in, weapons glowing. Messages were broadcast in dozens of languages. "Surrender. Power down your engines. You are not permitted here." The Liberty's crew looked to their captain. "What do we do?" whispered the navigator. Hale's eyes stayed on the screen. His voice was steady. "We find their weakness. Every hunter has one." What the aliens had not expected was that the Liberty carried more than new engines. Hidden deep within its systems were technologies adapted from the alien probe, stealth fields, electronic warfare, and advanced decoys. The Americans had not come unprepared. "Deploy the decoys," Hale ordered. Small pods launched into the void, each carrying transmitters to mimic the Liberty signal. In seconds, the alien sensors saw 5 human ships where there had only been one. Confusion rippled through the fleet. "Which one is real?" one commander demanded. Before they could adjust, the Liberty dived sharply, engines roaring. "Target their comms," Hale ordered. "Disrupt them." The Liberty fired bursts of electromagnetic energy, jamming alien signals. Fleets that once moved in perfect unity now stumbled, their coordination broken. The trap was starting to collapse, but the aliens still had numbers. Weapons fired, beams of light crossing the void. Explosions shook the Liberty's hull. Alarms blared. "Shields holding!" the tactical officer shouted. But not for long. Hale's voice cut through the noise. "Stay calm. Remember, we don't just fight, we hunt." He pointed at the map. "They think they've caged us. But a cage can trap the hunter as well as the prey. Let's show them that." The Liberty pulled back, drawing several alien ships into pursuit. Then, at the right moment, it turned sharply and launched counterfire. Explosions ripped through 2 enemy cruisers, shocking the rest of the fleet. Humans. "They're fighting back," one alien captain muttered in disbelief. "Not just fighting. Hunting. For hours, the battle raged. The aliens had numbers, but the Liberty had unpredictability. Every time the aliens thought they had cornered the humans, Hale shifted tactics. Every time they adjusted, the Liberty struck from a new angle. One alien commander slammed his fist against his console. "They're supposed to be new to the stars. How do they know our tactics?" But Hale was not using alien tactics. He was using the instincts of a predator. Ambush, surprise, relentless pursuit. The aliens had walked into their own trap. At last, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their commanders realized the truth: they could not win. Not against prey that refused to be prey. Not against hunters who thought 3 steps ahead. The Liberty, battered but alive, floated in the silent aftermath. Cheers erupted on the bridge. Captain Hale sat back in his chair, his face calm, though his eyes burned with determination. "Send this message to Earth," he ordered. "We are not alone, and we are not afraid." Across the galaxy, the news spread like wildfire. The trap had failed. The humans had not been crushed. Instead, they had turned the battlefield into a hunt, and won. For the first time in living memory, the Council realized a terrifying truth. The galaxy was no longer safe from predators, and those predators were human. The galaxy was shaken. The trap that was meant to cage humanity had failed. Instead of being captured, the American ship Liberty had fought through overwhelming odds and forced alien fleets into retreat. The news spread faster than light, carried by whispers, rumors, and intercepted reports. For the first time in generations, the Galactic Council felt fear not from war between its own members, but from something outside. From Earth. From the humans. Inside council chambers, the debate grew louder than ever. Supreme Speaker Orvos pounded the platform with his staff. "This cannot continue. The humans must not be allowed to turn every star system into a hunting ground. They are reckless, dangerous, and unpredictable." Crenell of the Morathi hissed in agreement. "We warned you. They cannot be trusted. They turned our trap into their battlefield. If they are allowed to grow stronger, no fleet will stop them." Some delegates nodded, their fear plain. Others shifted uneasily. They remembered too well how the humans had fought. But then Sarah, the Lurathi scientist, rose to speak. Her calm voice cut through the noise. "You are afraid because they do not fight as we do," she said. "But that does not mean they are mindless beasts. They fight with planning, with strategy, with patience. They are hunters, yes, but hunters who build, hunters who dream." Her words unsettled the chamber. Many were unwilling to admit the truth. Yet the memory of the Liberty's victory could not be erased. Meanwhile on Earth, the Americans celebrated. The Liberty's survival was broadcast across every channel. Though the government did not reveal all the details, the message was clear. Humanity had met alien fleets and lived to tell the tale. Captain Hale and his crew became heroes overnight. Parades were held, flags were waved, and children shouted their names. But Hale himself remained quiet. He knew the truth, that the battle had only been the beginning. In a private meeting at the Pentagon, he stood before generals and officials. "We've proven we can survive," he said. "But make no mistake, the galaxy now sees us as predators. They won't stop watching. Some will fear us. Some will try again. We need to be ready." The officials nodded. Project Horizon received even more funding. New ships were already on the drawing boards. The Americans understood. The galaxy had challenged them, and now the galaxy would respect them. But respect was not what most alien fleets felt. In the weeks after the failed ambush, alien commanders began to speak of humans in hushed tones. Soldiers told stories of how the Liberty had slipped through traps, how it had struck when least expected, how its captain had hunted them across the battlefield. To prey species, it was terrifying. To others, it was inspiring. Small groups of aliens, long oppressed by stronger empires, began to wonder, could humans become allies? Could these predators protect them where the Council never had? The galaxy was dividing, and humans were at the center of it. The Marathi, bitter and humiliated by their defeat, refused to let the matter rest. Their leaders met in secret chambers, their scaled bodies coiled in frustration. They embarrassed us before the galaxy, one commander spat. Prey outsmarted predators, this cannot stand. They are not prey, another replied grimly. They are hunters, and if we do not strike harder, they will hunt us. The Marathi planned a new campaign, not an ambush, but a war. They sent fleets into border systems, not against Earth directly, but against colonies belonging to weaker council members. They wanted to lure humans deeper into conflict, to prove that these predators could be cornered, but once again, they underestimated the Americans. Captain Hale and the Liberty were ordered to investigate strange signals near a trade route. The crew had repaired their ship, and though scars from the first battle remained, their spirit had only grown stronger. As they entered the system, they found wreckage, burned-out stations, disabled freighters, frightened civilians hiding on moons. The Marathi had struck ruthlessly, leaving survivors only as bait. They want us to chase them, Hale said, studying the maps. His eyes narrowed. They think they're the hunters now. His crew looked uneasy. Captain, it's a trap? Of course it is, Hale said with a calm smile. But sometimes the best way to catch a hunter is to step into their trap and turn it back on them. The Liberty followed the trail of destruction deeper into the system. As expected, Marathi warships emerged from hiding. Sleek, sharp vessels moved in from every direction. Their commanders hissed in triumph. This time, one sneered, the humans cannot escape. The Liberty's crew braced for battle, but Hale was ready. Before the Marathi could strike, he ordered the Liberty to cut power completely. The ship drifted in silence, its lights dark, its engines cold. To the Marathi sensors, it looked as though the humans had surrendered. Pathetic, the Marathi captain said. They give up so quickly. He moved closer, ready to deliver the final blow. And that was when the Liberty struck. Hidden systems came online in a flash. Energy surged. Weapons fired at point-blank range. The Marathi flagship never had a chance. Its shields collapsed instantly, explosions tearing through its hull. The other Marathi ships panicked. In their arrogance, they had crowded too close, giving the humans the perfect chance to strike. The Liberty moved like a predator in the wild, striking once, then disappearing into the dark, only to strike again from another angle. The Marathi realized too late. The hunted had become the hunters. Hours later, silence returned to the system. The Marathi fleet was in ruins. Survivors fled, their fear echoing across the stars. The Liberty sent rescue teams to the damaged stations. Civilians, both human and alien, were pulled from wreckage. For many, it was the first time they had seen humans in person, and what they saw shocked them. The humans were not cruel. They were not savage beasts. They gave food, water, and comfort. They protected the weak and repaired what had been destroyed. To the survivors, the humans were not only predators, they were guardians. Word of this spread quickly. Across the galaxy, species who had once feared humans began to change their minds. Yes, they are hunters, some whispered, but they do not hunt the innocent. They hunt those who would harm others. In the council, debates grew even sharper. Orvos tried to calm the chamber. We cannot ignore the truth. The humans have defeated us twice now. They will not be stopped by fear. Crinell hissed, furious. Then what do you propose? That we welcome them? That we kneel before predators? Sarah spoke once more, her voice steady. Not kneel, but respect. The humans are showing the galaxy something it has forgotten. That strength is not only for domination. Strength can also be for protection. Her words struck deep. For centuries, the Council had relied on peace, but peace had not always protected the weak. Perhaps some thought humanity's strength was not only a danger, but also a shield. On Earth, the Liberty returned in triumph once again. Crowds cheered as Captain Hale and his crew walked down the ramp. But behind the celebrations, leaders met in quiet rooms planning for the future. The Americans understood the truth. The galaxy was now watching them closely. Some feared them, some hated them, but others looked to them with hope, and Hale knew it too. Standing before his crew, he spoke quietly but firmly. "We didn't ask for this fight," he said, "but we didn't run from it either. The galaxy now knows who we are. We are not prey. We are not fragile. We are hunters. And when we hunt, we don't stop until the job is done." His crew nodded, their eyes filled with determination. They were no longer explorers alone. They were guardians of Earth and perhaps protectors of others. Across the stars, alien fleets whispered in fear. The Marathi, humiliated again, retreated to their worlds, vowing revenge. But other species began sending quiet messages toward Earth, messages of alliance, messages of friendship, messages of hope. The galaxy was changing and humans were at the heart of it. No longer the hunted, no longer the prey. The hunters had arrived and the hunters were human. The galaxy had changed forever. In just a short time, humans had turned from an unknown species into a name spoken across every world. No matter the star system, no matter the species, one truth echoed: the humans were hunters. Not prey, not weak. Hunters. And now, everyone wanted to know, what would the hunters do next? On Earth, the atmosphere was tense but proud. Project Horizon had proven itself. American ships had entered the void and returned not only victorious but also respected. In Washington, leaders met daily. Maps of star systems filled the rooms. Reports of alien movement stacked the tables. Military officials warned of more Marathi attacks. Diplomats reported new messages from smaller alien species asking for protection. Scientists argued that humanity must keep building faster ships before enemies returned. President Langley stood before the group. "We have entered the galaxy," she said. "We can no longer stand apart. Every decision we make now will shape how the stars see us. Do we stand as conquerors? Do we stand as protectors? Or do we fall back and let others decide our fate?" The room was silent. Everyone knew the truth. There was no turning back. Meanwhile, aboard the Liberty, Captain Hale walked the decks of his ship. The crew was repairing systems again, patching holes and upgrading weapons. They were tired, but their pride burned bright. Lieutenant Carter joined him. "Sir, I hear they're building new ships." "Bigger ones," Hale nodded. "They'll need more captains, too. More crews. We've proven humans can fight out there, but the next time it won't just be one ship. It will be a fleet," Carter smirked. "Think the galaxy's ready for that?" Hale looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. "No, but they'll learn." Far away, the Marathi were not idle. Their leaders met in underground halls, their eyes burning with hatred. Twice humans had beaten them. Twice they had been made to look weak. The shame was unbearable. "This ends now," hissed war leader Zoran. "If the humans are hunters, then we will become greater hunters. We will strike Earth itself." The plan was bold, almost unthinkable. But the Marathi thirst for revenge blinded them. They gathered fleets, trained soldiers, and prepared weapons never used before. Their goal was simple: destroy Earth before humanity could rise any higher. Back in the Galactic Council, debates raged hotter than ever. Some demanded humanity be crushed, others argued for peace, and still others whispered of alliance. Sarah, the Lurathi scientist, stood once again to speak. "You cannot stop them with fear. They have already faced traps and wars. If you force them to fight again, they will only grow stronger." Orvos, the Supreme Speaker, leaned forward. "And what do you suggest? That we hand the galaxy to them?" "No," Sarah said firmly. "But perhaps we must share it with them. They are hunters, yes, but not without honor. If treated with respect, they may become not our destroyers, but our protectors." The chamber was split. None could deny her logic, but fear remained strong. The decision came not from politicians, but from the stars themselves. Scouts soon reported massive Marathi fleets moving toward Sol, Earth's system. Panic spread. The council hesitated, arguing endlessly. But the Americans did not hesitate. Within hours, orders spread across every base. The Liberty would lead the defense, joined by newly built American warships. Crews rushed aboard, weapons loaded, engines roared to life. For the first time in human history, Earth was preparing for an interstellar war. The Liberty stood ready at the front of the fleet. Captain Hale addressed his crew. "This is it," he said. "The Marathi are coming for our home. Not a station, not a colony, our world. Everything we love is behind us. There is no retreat. There is no surrender. We fight not just for survival, but to show the galaxy what it means to challenge humanity. The crew cheered, their voices filled with fire. The battle came swiftly. Marathi fleets dropped from faster-than-light drives on the edge of Sol. Dozens of warships, bristling with weapons, poured into the system. Their commanders hissed with satisfaction. Earth will burn, Zoran promised, but waiting for them was not a helpless planet. Waiting was the Liberty. Waiting was the American fleet. Waiting were the hunters. The first clash shook the void. Marathi ships rushed forward, confident in their numbers. But the Liberty and her allies fought with ferocity. Human ships darted in and out of formation, firing with precision. They used Earth satellites, stations, and even asteroid fields as cover, striking like predators hiding in the wild. The Marathi expected prey. Instead, they found wolves. At the height of the battle, Zoran's flagship moved forward, massive and terrifying. Its weapons locked onto Earth itself, ready to fire a planet-killer strike. Captain Hale saw it. His heart froze, but his mind stayed sharp. They want to kill Earth in one blow, he told his crew. Then we end this here and now. He ordered the Liberty forward straight toward the flagship. Carter shouted, "Sir, we can't take that firepower." "We don't need to take it," Hale replied. "We just need to break them before they fire." The Liberty charged, weaving between enemy blasts. Its shields burned, its hull cracked, but it did not stop. Like an arrow shot from Earth itself, it struck deep into the Marathi formation. At point-blank range, Hale gave the order. "All weapons, fire!" The Liberty unleashed everything it had. Lasers, missiles, railguns, every weapon roared at once. The Marathi flagship shuddered, shields collapsing. But the enemy fired back and the Liberty trembled under the impact. Systems failed. Fires broke out. Yet still, the humans fought. Finally, with one last shot, the Liberty's railgun pierced the flagship's core. A blinding explosion tore across the battlefield. The Marathi flagship was gone. The Marathi fleet faltered. Their leader destroyed, their prey unbroken, fear spread among them. Ships began to retreat, their once proud formation crumbling. Cheers erupted across the American fleet. Earth had been saved. The hunters had won, but the Liberty paid a heavy price. Its hull was torn, many systems offline, and crew injured. Still, it survived, just as humans always did. When the smoke cleared, the galaxy reacted in shock. News of Earth's victory spread everywhere. The humans had not only defended their home, but had destroyed one of the most feared fleets in the galaxy. For prey species, it was a miracle. For predators, it was a warning. The Council could no longer deny reality. Humanity was no longer a new species to watch. They were now a power to respect. In Washington, President Langley addressed the world. Her voice was firm and proud. Today, Earth stood against the galaxy's hunters, and we proved that we are hunters too. We will not conquer for greed nor destroy for pride, but we will defend ourselves, and we will defend those who cannot defend themselves. Let the galaxy know this truth. Humanity will never kneel, humanity will never hide. Humanity has risen. The world cheered. On the Liberty, Captain Hale walked the damaged halls. Crew members nodded as he passed, their faces weary but proud. Carter joined him once more. "Sir," he said, "we've done it. We stopped them." Hale looked out at the stars. "We stopped them today. But tomorrow others will come. That's what it means to be hunters. The galaxy will always test us." Carter grinned. "Then let them. We'll show them what humans are made of." Across the galaxy, messages arrived at Earth. Small species begged for alliance. Others offered trade. Even some council members, once enemies, asked to negotiate. For the first time, humans were not alone among the stars. They were leaders, protectors, hunters who watched not only for themselves but for others. And so the galaxy remembered. The Marathi had tried to break Earth. They had tried to burn humanity's home. But instead, they had created something greater. They had created the legend of humans, the predators who rose from one world and claimed their place among the stars. No longer ignored. No longer underestimated. Humans had become the galaxy's apex hunters.